Thank you, Teresa, and I want to first thank you and your team for a truly outstanding presidency. So your leadership and commitment of your team really helped us to finalize all the remaining energy legislative files, and we had many. So from the gas package to the electricity market design, from the energy performance of the buildings to methane, the EU has now a fully fledged agreed framework to drive its clean energy transition, and we can focus on making things happen on the ground. So thank you once again, Teresa. This has been a pleasure to work with you. And well, we have delivered. Coming to the agenda of the Council today, we are closing this year, the second since the start of the war in Ukraine, on a positive note. Despite the strong challenges we still face, we have reviewed today, as we always do at the December Council, the security of supply outlook ahead of the winter. And Europe is well prepared. The storage levels are very high for this point of the year. The gas prices are lowest levels since the war started. And we are also making progress in diversifying away from Russian imports. We expect the total imports of Russian gas for 2023 to be around 40 BCM, roughly divided equally between LNG and pipeline gas. And this is half the volumes the EU imported last year. So last year it was 80 BCM. And we keep under close review the specific situation of Russian LNG imports. I'm glad that Council and Parliament have now agreed in the gas package on the Commission technical suggestions. They also added provisions that will allow each member state to limit the pipeline and LNG gas imports in their own network in line with their security of supply considerations. And this is a proportionate and targeted way to address Russian LNG imports, and it is now for the member states to deliver. While the current market situation is healthy, the new geopolitical instability presents a number of risks, and we need to maintain in place the preparedness and crisis response measures that were introduced last year. And that's why the Commission proposed 3 weeks ago the extension of 3 emergency regulations: solidarity regulation, renewables permitting regulation, and the market correction mechanism. These measures contributed to alleviating the high prices and volatility on the markets, and they are paying off, and it makes sense to keep them in place for another year. And I'm glad the ministers today approved the extension of those regulations by additional 1 year, and we can now look at the short-term future with more confidence. One important achievement this year was the collective effort of EU and member states to fast-track renewables. And this is happening right now, the acceleration. We will reach this year more than 69 gigawatts of new renewable generation. That means that this is another record year for Europe. But we need to keep up this momentum going forward, and that's why we are putting in place new tools and new forms of support for European clean energy technologies, such as the Green Action Plan and the Wind Power Package. And today, I have assisted the signature of the Wind Charter, which follows up to our Wind Power Package. The signatories were member states and representatives of European wind industry. And a little earlier this morning, we also organized with all member states the launch of the Energy Efficiency Financing Coalition to support investment and funding for energy efficient policies and measures. And also in the margins of this council, I also signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Southwest Europe, that means with Teresa and her counterparts from France and Portugal, and witnessed the signature of political declaration on implementing the synchronization of the Baltic states between Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. And this is a matter of fact that interconnections and cross-border cooperation are key in Europe to ensure energy security, fast-track renewables, and lower prices for consumers. I also want to mention Ukraine. which remains a priority focus of my work, and all the more now after the important decision of the European Council last week to open the accession negotiations. And I'm grateful to Teresa for having organized a discussion with our counterpart in Ukraine, Minister German Galushenko, who briefed us on the energy situation in Ukraine in view of the winter and the heating season, so another difficult winter for them, and to help Ukraine cope with this winter. Together with the energy community, we have rallied a fund that has collected thus far over 400 million euros. And as the Russian attacks continue also this winter, I encourage the ministers to continue with donations, both in terms of equipment in kind and financial aid. And finally, I also informed the ministers of recent external energy relations and the conclusions of the COP28. The global pledge on renewables and energy efficiency was also included in the final text of the COP28. We have now over 130 signatures, and this was incredible success for EU climate and energy policy. And all of these achievements concretely showcase how Europe is changing fast our own energy sector, but we are also leading by example. So there is no pause, we stay at course, we accelerate towards our energy future by developing concrete projects that work for the consumers and for our companies. And once again, I think that Spanish presidency was a great success, but I also believe that Belgian presidency will start in very crucial times. They will set a new tone for our targets beyond 2030. Thank you.